Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Prison with Warden Dave, where I sometimes lock myself in a cell just to ensure the world is a safer place. First, a quick update. Unfortunately, after the last video, my son Luke made it abundantly clear he didn't like my definition of quality time, so he's opted for Fortnite on his own instead of YouTube filming with me this evening. This video's comment highlight comes from Fighter's Destiny, who wrote, "Another good video. I have a question about the poetry corner though. Do you write the poetry or does someone else?" First, I'm surprised based on the caliber of the poetry that it's not clear I'm the author. No, actually I shouldn't wink, that's the wrong thing. I actually am the author. But more importantly, Fighter's Destiny comment got me to thinking, this is a channel for all of us. So I'm making no promises, but if any of you would like to direct message me on Discord or Instagram with a short poem of your creation, I would be glad to possibly highlight it and shout you out in a subsequent video. And now for the most awesome card I recently received. The award this time goes to this sealed Mew non-hollow version, card number 111 of 110 from the EX Holland Phantom set. It came inside of the Lucario and the Mystery of the Mew Collector's Edition 10th Anniversary Special DVD. I'm going to show you that as well. So this is what it came inside of. And I liked it. I actually have one extra of these because I just like the fact that I thought in the future it might be a good investment as well because of the sealed nature of this card and these DVDs becoming much harder to find. And so let's continue right now our conversation on eBay selling. And we left off talking about selling and some of the listings and stuff. I'm going to continue on. We talked about global shipping program. Let's talk about using an auction format versus a buy it now. So I don't use auction format. I don't think you need to. Auction format is fine to try to create interest in something and let a bunch of people start bidding on something that might be good. And when they're bidding, it's supposed to create an ownership where they don't want to let go and you get people more people interested. But I like the buy it now. So I'll put a buy it now in there at the price I want to sell it at, and I'll also put the best offer. Now I've spoken in a previous video about best offer and how buyers should look at that from the standpoint of the seller. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to sell for a lesser price. But if you're selling a really cheap item or you have a clearly defined bottom line price, then that is a point where best offer may come into a good position for you because you don't really care what they offer, you're willing to take it. And sometimes when you're trying to grow your numbers in the beginning of your sales activities, that can be a great way to do it. The other thing I've mentioned about best offer in the past is that sometimes you get a really good buyer who begins to converse with you. And what can happen then is they become a buyer for a long time. And I have that happen all the time with repeat buyers who are happy with the fact that I'll take lower amounts for many of my cards and come back for more discounts on further items later. The other thing I've told you before, it's hard to do, but it's something that it's a great commitment to make if you can do it. Respond to every offer with a kind message. I typically say, thank you so much for your offer. I'm sorry, or unfortunately, it's not high enough, or it's not the amount I'm looking for, but I appreciate you trying and I wish you the best of luck, David. So it really begins to build your own kindness and the way you treat people as well as build a reputation for you going forward. Okay. So the next thing is deciding how you're going to ship your stuff. That's an important consideration. Are you going to ship with tracking or without tracking? Most sellers of small dollar value items ship without tracking. They stick the item in an envelope and they let it go. Just keep in mind that if it is not received or if your buyer says it's not received, you have no way to track it, you will automatically be responsible for a refund for the item. Again, if you don't care, if it's just something I think from my experience, most buyers are pretty straightforward and they'll claim they got it if they did get it, but if they don't, or if they say they don't, there's nothing you can do. Now, when you move up to the mid-tier, etc., I always ship everything with tracking because it's eliminated any hassles. Every time I've tracked now, I've not had any issues with anybody saying something was not received, and that's been a huge weight off my shoulders despite it costing a little bit more. The other thing as well is, if you ship with tracking, make sure you do the following. Go to the post office every time you drop something off and get a receipt for what you send. If you just hand it to them and it's tracked, a lot of the time they don't take the time to scan it. It may never get in the system and you may never hear about it again. So since I've started having receipts coming, I've eliminated additional problems as well. The other thing about tracking versus not tracking is the post office looks at the size of the package. So if you have a very small package in an envelope with a lot of thick cardboard in there, They don't like that. They call it too rigid. And so me being a wonderful follower of every law possible on the books, I get intimidated by the post office. So for me, it's easier just to ship with tracking, even though it costs a little bit more, and it definitely loses me some sales along the way. Understand the impact of returns from a cost standpoint. You have to be meticulous in how you list and what you expect to get from your buyers. Because if they don't like what they receive, it's an automatic return that you have to accept. And you have to send a shipping label back to get it back automatically. That's going to cost you double the shipping in the end. If you decide not to get it back, then all you do is write it off, give them the thing. That's what most sellers do in that situation. If it's a lower value card or item, they just say keep it because they don't want to pay the shipping back. So be careful. If you over describe a condition or something and they say it didn't match that, you're going to, kind of take it in the shorts later on. So, all right, be careful and try and research your buyer's feedback. So this is a little bit of an obscure type of fact, but buyers cannot receive bad feedback. I didn't really realize that. So you're never going to look at a buyer's feedback and find a red mark on there. It's going to all be green. That doesn't mean somebody couldn't have said something bad about something they tried to do. They would write it in green because they don't have another choice. So if you have suspicions about a buyer and something they're doing, make sure to check their feedback at least down into the color more so than, down into the words more so than the color. Buyer is almost always right. Keep that adage in mind. So be careful in the beginning when you're getting started. It's very hard to go against a buyer. I mean, again, when you build numbers and you build strength of reputation, then eBay can see more clearly that they are the ones that are trying to sort of commit something that's wrong and you know what you're doing. But in the beginning, that's going to be tougher. All right. In the earlier video, I talked about the importance of packing securely. We're promising to get it to them in the same condition that they see it in the pictures. So my little trick for all this is I actually use the flat rate envelopes from the post office. Now, would they like to hear that? No, they wouldn't, because I'm just cutting up their cardboard. By the same token, I'm sending hundreds of packages with them every month. So make sure, you can do that, cut it up, put a card in a card holder if you can. I recommend getting some hard card holders. That is the safest way. Minimize your use of tape when you're packaging. It is the most excruciating thing, and buyers hate it. Opening up piece after piece after piece of Scotch tape, shipping tape, minimize tape. When I put a hard card holder outside of a card, I slip it in. When people send that to me, they put tape on it. When they put tape on it, I basically have to struggle through the tape and I end up having to throw away the hard card holder. So when I ship, I put the card inside of a hard card holder and then I wrap it with a piece of paper and tape the paper shut. Then I stick that inside of layers of the cardboard from the flat rate envelope. So I'll use 2 layers for a top load type of a top load card inside the top loader package. And I'll use 4 layers for a booster pack. I want buyers to understand my commitment to packing something well to make sure it gets to them and in the way that I said. And the other thing I do is I even cut the corners. I chop down the square corners so that there's no chance of a square corner ripping through an envelope when it's being shipped to the buyer. I use 6 by 9 inch envelopes and ones that are the security ones that don't allow you to see through them to try to make sure that everything is safe and secure as well. So it's relatively cheap. I don't like the bubble packs, that stuff, because I've had so many things that I receive in them still get damaged, and none of the stuff that I ship end up getting damaged. Understand what I call the 4-ounce increment rule when you're dealing with the post office. 4 ounces, 8 ounces, 12 ounces, 16 ounces, that's where the different price points come. When you get up to 16 ounces or 1 pound, then it shifts to 2 pounds, then it shifts to 3 pounds. Anything between is always going to be the same price. So don't put anything at any other increment. Weigh your packages, and if they weigh 2 pounds and 4 ounces or something, put it at 0 pounds. I'm sorry, not 2 pounds. If it comes out at 2.4 ounces, put it at 0 pounds, 4 ounces. If it comes out 6 ounces, put it at 8 ounces. Stay in your 4 increments to give yourself a little leeway in case for some reason you didn't weigh it right. To weigh it, I use a house food scale that my son used when he was anal about putting every portion of his stuff on the scale. You can get a small scale very cheaply, whether or not it's a postal scale. Like I said, using a food scale would work just as well for the purpose. The other thing is when the price of the package gets up above $13, $14, you've got other tabs on there. I, at least on my system, have for FedEx. I imagine you would as well. When you get above $14, $15, sometimes FedEx is a great option, so take a look at it. Say, hey, maybe this is going to be cheaper if I go FedEx, and maybe instead of $17, it'll be $12 for you instead of the post office. Just be aware of that option. Print all of your labels and your shipping packing slips with eBay. So it's not hard. You just say, I want to print a packing slip, and they put one out there. It's got default words you can use. But that packing slip is the way to remind buyers to leave good feedback for you. And when you're in the beginning, don't be afraid to write a note and say, hey, thank you so much for your order. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It means a lot for you to leave feedback right now as I try to take my business and get it off the ground. I think those words really help a lot, okay? And the other thing is with the labels, you don't have to have a big fancy label type of printer. It's just gonna come out on a piece of white paper. You're gonna cut it in half and slap it on top of the package that you're sending. All right, the other thing I'll say too is that there's a pretty good discount associated with printing at the post office. Printing on eBay versus printing at the post office. So you're gonna wanna keep that in mind. Every time we go there for something out of the ordinary, they're always trying to charge us a lot more. I talked earlier about the discussion of fees, so I'll just reiterate again. Insertion fees with your 50 first listings free, and sometimes with additional promotions they'll throw at you, won't cost you anything. So that's why you want to try to do this and see if you can make it work and make some money out of the gate. No matter what you sell, you're going to have final value fees. Currently, they're running something like 10% from eBay standpoint and about 3% from PayPal. You have both. There's nothing you can do. That may come down a little bit because they're revamping the system to maybe take PayPal out and allow for some other payment takers. But regardless, plan on 13% fees. And the reason I say that is because, number one, accept it. You're not going to get a way to get to this many buyers in the marketplace other than eBay. Okay, other people are touting their services and Amazon and whatever. eBay's where people are still going right now as of this day. So if you got to pay that fee to get your stuff out in front of hundreds of thousands of people, to me it's worth it. I don't like it, but it's worth it. And the other piece is, let's see if I was going to, if I can even remember that. Look at my notes here. It doesn't matter. I can't remember the other piece. But so with respect to final value fees, just understand, price them in to your listings. So when I sell and I have a shipping charge of $375 minimum, I don't get to collect $375. I'm only picking up about $3.25 after the fees. So I put I put $375 on the listing is what the buyer pays because it cost me actually $3.25. And if the buyer says, why so much? I just explain it to them. Remember what I said, right? Transparency and accountability. Just tell people like it is. Say, I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but this is exactly what I pay. People say, David, why are your booster packs so expensive? Because, hey, it cost me $10,000 for a fire red leaf green box. That comes down to, and then I've got to pay tax on it, and then I've got to pay shipping, and then I've got to sell it, and when I sell the packs from the box, I'm going to lose 13%. So all of those things make buyers respect the fact that you're knowledgeable and care about what you're doing. All right, last thing. I told you I'd give you an offer, and this is my offer. I'm going to help you sell on eBay. If you follow my directions that I gave you, you watch the videos a couple of times through, don't stop them. If you stop them in the middle, it hurts my viewing, okay? Just keep them going. If you start them, go do the dishes, come back if you don't want to watch them anymore. Ask for my feedback and take me up on my offer of assistance, all right? So try to list. Try to put something out there. Put one or two, take a snapshot, send it to me and say, David, how does this look? What do you think? Do you think I'm doing the right thing? Glad to help, love to help. This channel is for all of us. I want to be different than the other guys. I do like to show you some of my special stuff, but that's not the primary goal here. So many of these other guys, no offense on what they do, but they're promoting what they want to promote. They're doing things that are good for them. I'm trying to help all of us do what's right for all of us as a community. I am not asking for praise, appreciation, love, or money. I do like love, just so you know, but I really like money. So I'm not asking for it. If you want to send it, I'll give you a PayPal address anytime you're ready. Just pop me $1 or $2, okay? But what I am asking for is for you to post about my channel. Talk about it, share it with others. Say there's this guy that's a little different. He's a little quirky, but he seems to really have his heart in this whole thing to help all of us. That makes a huge difference in upping my numbers, which is my entire goal, to get more people be able to find, so I can, me and the channels and all of us in the Discord community, so we can benefit together. And as I mentioned, the Discord community, please remember to join it. It's in the video link before. We're at about 100 participants or members of the Discord community at this point. When I get to 200, which is nothing matter than other than you just going in and registering, I'm going to hold my next giveaway. So I'm going to finish today with a special version of Poetry Corner. Here we go. Selling on eBay is not as hard as it seems. The money you'll make will help towards your dreams. So jump in, don't worry. You've nothing to lose. Pick items of value, be tactical what you choose. Be honest with buyers, let them know that you care, and don't be too wordy, just treat people fair. Pay your dues in the beginning, and you'll learn as much as you can, and you'll grow your numbers, just stick to the plan. But if you have questions, just reach out to me. I'll be there to help you. My assistance is free. My sincere thanks to all of you for joining me today. Again, taking the time, your valuable time, to share another video with me. I will see you again real soon.